For most of human history, value had weight. It glittered, it clinked, it could be held, hidden, stolen. Gold, the eternal metal, the sun made solid, was the measure of empires and the obsession of kings. Entire civilizations rose and fell for its gleam. And yet, one day, humanity decided this ancient idol was too heavy, too slow, too inconvenient for the ambitions of a new world. So, we chose paper. Fragile, flammable, faith-based paper. It was, without exaggeration, one of the most absurdly brilliant ideas in history to replace a physical symbol of value with something that had none. A promise, scribbled in ink, declared to be worth something simply because everyone agreed to pretend it was. This is the story of how gold, the eternal, was replaced by paper, the ephemeral. It's a story of trust, illusion, and the delicate machinery of belief that still powers our global economy. But it's also a story of irony, because the moment humanity freed itself from the weight of gold, it chained itself to something far more abstract: debt, credit, and the perpetual promise of tomorrow. In the beginning, gold reigned supreme. Its value needed no explanation. It was rare, durable, beautiful. It couldn't be printed or easily faked. The pharaohs hoarded it. Roman emperors minted their power into eternity with it. To possess gold was to possess certainty. And yet, as trade routes expanded and commerce flourished, gold's perfection became its flaw. It was too scarce, too heavy, too vulnerable. The merchants of the world, ever practical, began to dream of something lighter. So, in the bustling markets of medieval China, during the Song Dynasty, an audacious thought took root. Merchants, tired of hauling heavy bags of metal, started using written notes receipts for deposits of coins left in safe places. These slips of paper, signed and trusted, began to circulate as money itself. It was an act of pure imagination and pure convenience. At first, these notes were just representatives of real treasure, but slowly, quietly, the paper began to matter more than the metal. As long as people believed in the paper, it worked. Belief, not gold, had become the new standard of value. When the emperors of China discovered this innovation, they did what all rulers do. They took control. The government began issuing official notes, backed by its authority. What had started as a merchant's trick became state policy, and with that, humanity crossed a threshold from tangible wealth to symbolic trust. But with every great innovation comes temptation. Paper could be printed infinitely faster than gold could be mined. It was, quite literally, the invention of wealth from nothing. The emperors printed more and more, confident that their power would sustain its value. It didn't. Within a few generations, inflation ravaged the economy. The first paper money experiment collapsed under the same human flaw that would haunt every financial system to come: greed. Still, the idea refused to die. Centuries later, explorers like Marco Polo carried whispers of this strange money made of paper back to the West. He marveled in disbelief that the Great Khan could make money out of the bark of trees, and that none dared to refuse it, under pain of death. The West, predictably, scoffed at first. The thought that something so fragile could replace the solidity of gold seemed ridiculous. And yet, the seed had been planted. By the 17th century, Europe was ripe for transformation. Trade had exploded, empires spanned oceans, and the world economy demanded more flexibility than gold could offer. The first banks, those temples of paper and promise, emerged to manage the chaos. They began issuing their own notes, promises to pay the bearer a certain amount of gold on demand. These notes circulated so widely that soon people stopped demanding the gold altogether. After all, the paper worked just as well until it didn't. The entire system rested on one fragile truth: the notes were only as good as the trust behind them. That trust could be shattered in an instant. Wars, bankruptcies, rumors, all could destroy the illusion of value overnight. But humanity, ever resilient, kept rebuilding the illusion, each time stronger, more complex, and more global. When you hold a banknote today, a flimsy rectangle of printed cotton and promise, you're holding the legacy of that great deception. A deception so powerful, it became reality. We no longer dig for gold, we mine for confidence. We no longer weigh our wealth, we measure it in digits and dreams. And in that irony lies the genius and the madness of paper money. Gold demanded effort, labor, and risk. Paper demanded belief, and belief is infinitely cheaper to produce. With every note printed, with every transaction, humanity built an invisible empire made entirely of trust. Banks became the new alchemists, governments the new gods, and money the new scripture of civilization. Yet even as this system grew, a shadow followed it, the shadow of doubt. Because deep down, Everyone knows a promise is not the same as possession. Paper is not gold. It never was. And yet, our world runs on these promises. Nations rise and fall based on confidence. Markets boom and crash because of whispers, not facts. The wealth of billions depends not on metal or land, but on belief that the paper, the numbers, the system will hold. That belief is the single most powerful force humanity has ever created. It built skyscrapers, launched economies, and funded wars. It turned forests into fortunes and ideas into empires. But belief is also fragile. When it breaks, civilizations tremble. So, when we ask, how did paper money replace gold? The answer is both simple and terrifying. It didn't happen because gold failed. It happened because humans found a shortcut. Paper was lighter, faster, easier, and infinitely expandable. It freed us from the physical limits of the earth, and in doing so, unmoored us from reality itself. We traded solidity for symbolism, weight for words, scarcity for speed. In return, we gained the modern world, a world of unprecedented wealth and unprecedented fragility. Every skyscraper, every credit card, every digital dollar in your bank account traces its lineage back to that first leap of faith when a merchant decided a piece of paper could be worth a bag of gold. That leap built our civilization. It also built our dependency on illusion. There's a cruel elegance in this transformation. Gold rolled through force, you could see it. Touch it, steal it. Paper rolls through belief, you can only destroy it by disbelief. And disbelief, unlike gold, spreads fast. Perhaps that's why we guard our economies with such secrecy and our currencies with such ceremony. Because deep down, we know that all of it, the markets, the fortunes, the balance sheets, rests on nothing more solid than shared imagination. Gold was real. Paper is a story, and we are its authors, its readers, and its prisoners. In the next chapters of this story, humanity will push this illusion even further, turning promises into policy and money into a tool of empire. The age of paper will birth new powers and new perils. But before we go there, remember this: the fall of gold was not the fall of value. It was the rise of faith, and like all faiths, it demands belief, devotion, and denial. Thanks for watching. If you found this story fascinating, be sure to like this video and subscribe for more deep dives into the forces that shape our world. See you next time.